Hello there everyone, this is Mark3 and welcome back to Dyson Sphere Program, the second launch. Yes, because the first launch didn't get anywhere, the second launch was fine, and I suddenly had the thought, hey, I'll segue this into lunch and say I mispronounced it, but I didn't manage to, so whatever. Okay, but yes, welcome back to Dyson Sphere Program. I just figured I'd start off here showing you that well, you remember all those orbiting gas giant refineries and things that we've been setting up for a little while now, but have not really been using for anything, except for a little bit of fire ice, I guess? Well, I decided to put some of it to use when I realised that some of my production, like deuterium production, going into strange matter, going into gravity lenses, was suffering due to a lack of materials. So I put down the spaceport here, bringing in oil, just in case, so we're barely using that, but hydrogen from our immediate neighbour, and deuterium from that place we set up an episode or so back for deuterium mining. And this is all wired in, so it's like a supplemental source of these three products into the original assembly lines, just to make sure that it all keeps going. Because things were getting kind of backed up in terms of a lack of hydrogen, meaning lack of deuterium, meaning lack of, you know, that entire thing that was going on there. So that should help my factory in general keep ticking over. Though in other news, I also bolted together some extra storages here, just because there's an achievement to fill up 10 storages. I figured, you know what, this is going on, let's slap down some storage. And right before I started recording this, I actually got that achievement as well, so it's like, it's one of those little things that happens. If you've got enough production capacity, then achievements like that don't really become achievements. It's just a question of remembering to do a thing. I wanted these. If I actually had my inventory open, wouldn't it? Come on. Inventory, thank you. That'll do, 50 of them. Right. So anyway, moving on, let's actually get started. Today's little project is, we are back once more at our Forge World. As soon as I can align myself properly. Oops, yeah, that was a slightly awkward takeoff there, wasn't it? And we need to get some more production going. Oopsie daisy. I know, we need more production. But that's unfortunately the nature of this game. It's just like you keep cycling things up. I mean, I have been cycling things up, as you can probably tell. There's a bunch more refining going on up here, just like extra copper, extra iron, extra steel, a whole bunch of extra steel. I've not actually assigned this line to do anything yet, and all that jazz. So, but really, I think we're producing all but 2 of the resources required, well, that are available to the smelters at the moment, and what we are missing is magnets, purely because that requires extending one of the existing blueprint patterns, so, you know, quick and easy to do that. And the other one is a slightly more complex one, which is the titanium alloy, requiring titanium, steel, and sulfuric acid. Remember, we did set a planet to be drained of sulfuric acid. We've not actually used that yet. But there is actually another problem with the current situation going on here, which is... Here we go, right. Now we've got spin-form satellite crystals being turned into carbon nanotubes. And then this requires graphene. The thing is, I went and double-checked on this, and I realised we don't actually have very much in terms of spin-form satellite production. As in, we're mining like literally just 2 resource deposits on an ocean world. And when I went there, I realised, oh wait, I don't have the power systems to lay out some more mines and things, because it's a water world, so it's kind of tricky to do. So that was a big whoopsie. And then, when I came back here, I realised further, this world is actually struggling for power. We've got too many factories, we've got too many forges, we've got too much stuff. I bolted some extra battery arrays in up here, next to the battery charge-discharger station, but even so, this planet actually struggles for power. So I think the main way to solve that is probably going to be to proceed to the next stage of Dyson Sphere program, at the very least start tapping into the Dyson Sphere more. Speaking of, how is the Dyson Sphere doing? Requested power 578, available Okay, yeah, this has got the biggest Dyson swarm in my entire system because it's plugged into the factories directly, and it's got spare power, so getting some of that going is a good idea. Though also a good idea is structure creation. We need to do that here locally as well, and that means more factories and more everything. Don't need big factory complexes working on building production, honestly, but it makes sense to do it where all the resources are being refined and processed as well. So, but yeah, let's get started doing some minor/major modifications to this, that, and everything. That sounds about right. Once again, the nature of the layout comes to save me. I'm just able to stretch out basically everything based on a calculator. So it's like we had 30 to accommodate the extra 50% increase in terms of refining and processing time. It just became 45, and luckily everything just like multiplied by that as well, so it's like extra half on the entire rate. I decided I'd use the array that I'd built but not actually purposed yet to deal with magnet production locally. So magnets, 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 magnets. And by the way, you're doing that as well. So all supply, all demand, immediate inbound. I've not given you any ships yet, have I? Right. There we go. Now I just have to tell it what to do. It's quite quick and easy sometimes. And that's the reason why I started doing the entire straight line system. It's just like fast, fast, fast. Or, well, relatively simple. I mean, Dan, you left a comment on the last one saying that my line producing proliferation, I had to stop and think for a moment there. Like, what's the word? Is that bigger than your entire efforts so far in this game? I actually contest that. I know it's not exactly my place to do so because I've not seen any of your builds, but I contest that because that line in itself is not that big, and honestly, if you play the game for any length of time, your entire factory sprawl will get bigger than that thing without too much trouble. Especially if you take into account conveyor stretches, mining sites, all that kind of thing. I think you probably meant more though. It's like a single resource production. And unfortunately I have a counterpoint to that as well, which is the fact that's not actually one resource being produced down there, it's technically 3. It's just because they stack on and build off each other, I've strung them all together, and that's what makes it such a big line. Though I'll be honest, the way things are going in this series, I'll be building bigger lines than that, without doubt. Most likely for solar sails, because Dyson swarm components. I'm going to need boatloads of those, and in fact I've been short of those for quite a while. I need more solar sails. Though hopefully I will reach the point where I start launching like more Dyson's components in this video as well, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. Also I have to figure out how to do the oddball titanium alloy refinement. It's the only furnace recipe in the game that requires more than one input, as far as I know. So that's going to be fun to work out. Anyway, yeah. That's up. We got magnets. Let's continue to bolt in factories and things. Do you think this is enough? Maybe. Maybe it is. I think it's a nice start. The solar panels were not completely filled out, so I filled those out. I tore out and installed a bunch of ray receivers, as you can see, so big mucho ray receivers. And then I took out enough space to put in a logistics station, which will bring in graviton lenses to further boost power output. So this world is short on power. I'm taking steps to not let it do that, but there we go. And that'll feed this entire array and hopefully do pleasant things to the power supply situation. Though it might also... yeah, it's actually overloading the Dyson sphere. as it stands. So I do need those extra parts. Oh well. Anyway, let's get back to doing the things. I think I'll do the alloy production first. Then I'll go and do other stuff. I can't actually fit this in the same blueprint pattern as this. I need more space. That's the issue with it. I need more space. Okay, I think now is a good time to show you what I've been cooking up. And it is a thing of terrifying beauty. Or sheer terror, and or insanity. Or some combination thereof. I don't know what this thing is. Right, okay. So, I found I couldn't mash it into a single or a double feed of assembly machines. Because, well, it was just too bulky, honestly, because it's a travel feed. Even though these smelting machines are smaller, it was still requiring more space than those lines would actually allow. So, I wound up attaching it, as you can probably see here, to the same width as I was using for these the chemical plants. So, there's that. Moving on. The inputs calculation was slightly off as well because find the thing, because it requires 448 of the specified resources. So to counteract that, I have actually doubled up output of sulfuric acid. So 2 belts instead of 1 belt of sulfuric acid is coming out, and that consumed a lot of the inputs / output points on the station, to the point where I've actually, I think for the first time, I've used every single port available on it. Including, by the way, the fact that I didn't have enough slots to actually order in delivery of Space Warpers. So I actually nicked those from the next line over here, in the middle of the proliferation line. They're just being moved from there over to this tower over here, because I just didn't have enough logistical space to sort that. But anyway, titanium alloy, titanium ingots, steel, sulfuric acid. Due to the lack of ports, I'm making sure that the outputs are quad belt, so stacked 4 times. For the first time, I've also stacking these things on top of each other, just to try and make a bit more space efficiency, but as you can see, that's resulted in a tangle of conveyor belts and things. A little bit of spaghetti. But that should do just fine. I guess the last thing of note is something I have done before on other builds, just not really with the furnaces much. And that is the fact, that I'm mislaying stuff, of course. The fact that I'm staggering them because they require the full 3 ports of input on each side. So I'm going to have to just stagger them like that to get a massive number of... Oh, that's why it did that, okay. Just a massive number of loaders are required. There we go. And now with all that laid out, it's basically a matter of copy-pasting this thing until I reach the required number of things. Speaking of the required number of things, these things actually output 4 to 4. So for a 1 to 1, that is actually 3 seconds a piece. Belt is 30. So, you know, just math. 1 to 1 every 3 seconds. So I need 30, 60, 90 of these. I need 90 of these things to make a steady belt's worth of output. Oh dear. Well, this is going to be fun, isn't it? 90. I just have those on me. I need to get some more furnaces. You gotta love it when you forget about little features sometimes. But yeah, anyway. I was starting to lay it out like I normally did on all the other furnace projects, then I realised, wait a second, I need to have a space between them, so space them out. And this is going to be a big project. But I remembered I can just use copy mode to grab everything I need. Like so. And then just use it now to get everything laid in where I want it. So, huzzah. I said shift click, not... It is shift click to lay it as a blueprint, isn't it? And of course, okay, right. So, can't quite do it as easy as I'd have hoped, but that's okay. That's okay. Note to self, learn to use blueprint system a little bit better. That'd be nice. Yeah, note to self, sure. Okay. So where am I grabbing the point? I'm grabbing that point there, so that's okay. So I'm grabbing to that point over there. I just want to make sure. There's a gap of 2. I've grabbed one of those. So let's grab there. Like so. Save it. And then it should be this one. Yeah, it's the one. And I just need to clear out the way and just click and copy everything. Note to self, make more use of blueprint system because it does speed things up a little bit more. And honestly, when you're doing this kind of thing, speeding things up, that's always for the better, isn't it? I guess. Blueprint. That's the one. 3, 2. There we go. So that makes 10, 20, 30. And just keep going on until I've got 90. So, if you start doing enough production of scale, you're going to hit some interesting things pretty quick. Plus, this way it tells you if you don't have enough of something. Oh, I'm going to have to remove that. Oh well. Well, that took a little bit. To give you an idea, though, this thing now stretches... I think this is actually my longest line to date. It's even bigger than the proliferation line, which is there. That's like nearly a quarter of the way around the circumference of the planet. Well, this thing is... Yeah, this thing is getting to about a third of the way around the planet, so... Biggest individual production line. Yay. That certainly took a little bit though. Right. Okay, last thing to do is just plug it all in. So plug it in, watch it, and hope that it works as intended. Which it is very sadly doing. Okay, good. That's working okay. And power is absolutely fine, of course it is. We are now producing massed quantities of titanium alloy. Everything else from here on in is going to be a manufacturing rather than a smelting issue. At least in theory, until I... Look how fast I'm depleting sulfuric acid. Oh, jeez. 10,000 sulfuric acid in transit is... not going to be enough, is it? Where are the sulfuric acid shipments? So it depletes before the sulfuric acid could even reach me from where they're coming from. I need to upgrade my ship speed if I'm going to sustain this thing, which is this one. 50% logistic navigation, logistic vessel navigation. Where is it? Warp speed 0.515 light years per second. Navigation 1,800 meters. Oh, so that navigation is standard drive, while warp speed is the thing I want. I don't think I can't upgrade that, can I? This is all mech stuff. I don't think I can upgrade my logistics warp speed. So all I can do is try to increase the payload, but yeah, I deplete all that before the things even get there. So if I'm going to pull enough to keep this line running, I need more logistics station input. That's an unfortunate thing. Yeah, look at that. It's already requesting more. Oh, that's something I could do. Increase the size of both the logistics craft and the logistics stations. That is an upgrade line I was meant to be doing, which is... This one increases storage for the vessels and for my stations. So I think I want... I need that anyway to get up to the next level of stacking, so I'll activate that. And we'll see how it goes. But the problem is at this point my research is way slower than my production can keep up with, so... No, sorry, my production can't really keep up with the research speed, so research speed is suffering a little bit. I mean, 30 minutes it says, but it's stuttering around a bit, so who knows. Anyway, let's get on with some more factory work. More factories. Yes. Gotta get doing that good stuff. Look how much material it's depleting, jeez. This is one hungry assembly line. They say I am a patient man. Though I admit, my patience does have limits sometimes, especially when I'm short on sleep. So, yeah, there is that. So, what I figured was, I've been laying down more factory chains and junk around the place, and I realised I kind of want to stop and do something else because I've just been like doing that for a while. Sometimes this games do that, I must admit, but I've made progress all the same. So, to round out this video, I've got two things to do. I was originally thinking maybe I'll get more Dyson sphere progress going, but we need a lot more production chains before we do that. So, instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually develop the footprint for what I plan to do regarding building just like more buildings. So building the buildings, I'm going to be building the building which building the buildings, because buildings also need more foundations. Oops. Yeah, I'll take all that, thank you. Build the buildings that build the buildings. Yes. So I'm going to be doing this. I figure I'd use these lower altitudes, latitude, long. Is it latitude, longitude? I keep forgetting. The lower spaces down here to produce stuff, because I can easily fit them together. They'll go kind of down here towards the south of the planet. It's the kind of area where I was built things to accept the smelting arrays, but it's also at a limit. So I'm going to do that, and I thought I'd actually have this process on the video, which is why I'm going burble, burble, burble. Listen to me, I make sense sometimes. But the thing is, most of these buildings requires 3 to 4 materials. 4 materials is something we cannot easily do. Not with these guys importing warpers and proliferators. So, we've already got a slot for warpers. We can technically skip that if we feed in warpers from elsewhere, because the outputs also can draw from this warper slot as well. So with that in mind, I'm going to set the bottom one to proliferation. 100, demand, demand. And then I'm going to cluster all these together, and I'm going to have one import off to the side, or maybe I'll just nick it from one over here or something like that, you know, just somewhere cheeky like, hey, give me your warpers, and I'll do it like that. So we got that at the very least. We've got proliferators coming in. We need to make sure this thing can proliferate properly, make sure that all the inputs are done, and oh, I'm almost out of factories as well. Yes, I did have some in stock. Okay, I've got a couple hundred of those. And I'm going to set some things up here. So this is going to be want to have access to Interstellar, and admittedly local is not really going to be important because these guys aren't delivering locally for the most part, but they will be delivering Interstellar, which is why they want the logistics vessels. And I'm just going to tell it to do... this. No, I don't want two of them on top of each other. I think each one individually requires a proliferation supply anyway. So I'll just do that. Then production, as I noted, each one requires like up to 4. So I'll just dedicate 5 like that, and 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm thinking. I thought. Wait, it's just going to be like a batch of 5 of these guys doing whatever. And yeah, in case you're wondering, I am short on sleep. That is kind of why my patience ran dry a little bit. But this is going to be great for anything except for things that are required in massive quantities. Like landfill. Actually, I think I want to get a landfill production going somewhere else. But that's a 2 input to 1 output, so that's like, I'm going to treat that as a material rather than a building. It is technically a material. But I just want this layout so that I can safely say I've got everything sorted out where needed. Note to self, you've got 4 inputs. Don't forget, you need 4 inputs. I'm going to be using this as the base blueprint. Okay. And the base blueprint is then going to be operating off of this. So you are input 1. I'm not trying to max stack this. I'm not trying to do anything super special. It's just a case of slap this down, the base blueprint, then delete what I don't need. Because end of the day, this thing is not going to be operating full tilt no matter what I do, so that's fine. For you, I want to be the proliferators. Can you get that close? You cannot. I need to do from here, I think. Yes. And zoop. That'll do. You've got a convenient gap for mounting a power post in the middle of that. And then I just delete these lines off as I need to affect the total throughput of the entire thing. At least that's my thought. I know. This thing looks kind of sparse, doesn't it, compared to other stuff? But gotta remember, this is, after all, for limited production of buildings, and that is purely it. So it's not going to be mass production. It's not going to be mass production. It's going to produce a decent amount. It's going to be well stocked with materials, definitely. But that's about all that will be going on. So if I pull you upwards like this, I want to proliferate the output as well, of course. Actually, no, I won't proliferate the output on these because often these buildings aren't going on to a further stage. So I'll rely on just input proliferation for this. Just putting down a building, proliferating the output doesn't actually do anything for it. So that's my reasoning. Then that's going to be an input line, and this is going to be an output line for warpers, which just wanders off over that way somewhere. And I'm going to mark the other corners because that's a great way to get a consistent blueprint size. And yeah, that'll just about do it. Just need to get the power supply in. So, you know, this is probably quite underwhelming compared to a lot of the other stuff I've done. Especially since I showed you my process on it, and I admit I was going kind of slow and umming and ahhing, which is why I wanted to bring this particular recording to a close. But this is something I can very easily just like go put it down and say, hey, you do this, you do that, you do the other. And it'll sort itself out based on what I set it to do. So, there we go. Last check, can I put a transport hub down here? Yes, I can. I cannot. Slightly too close together. Darn. I think it's because it's getting such high altitudes, so it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're good. We're good. But this will do everything I wanted to do. So grab that. You are now going to be building fabrication. Save it. And then I can just use that here, there, and everywhere. Is the basic idea. So just get rid of that all. So scrap it. Yes. We saw we had a slight issue on this because we're just getting so close to the pole. It'll probably be fine on this layer here, but just for ease of use, we are going to try that now and try slapping down a bunch of these, because the other thing is, if it's all around a pole, then I'll know where I need to go just for producing structures and things. That's my other thought on that. So, where is it? Building fabrication. I can just slot it quite easily into, say, here. Because I know that line is not going to use anything else. Zop. And zop. Yep, that works just fine on that layer. Zop. And not quite. So it needs to be slightly further apart on that layer. And that's all there is to it. Quick and easy, yes. At least I think it's quick and easy. It does something at the very least. Though of course I'll have to delete more mines, I'll have to get more stuff through. It's not too bad, not too bad. Okay, so for test, I will tell it I want to make... We do kind of want a lot of arc smelters, we want a lot of things. We don't have a lot of the materials, but this is a good test one. Chemical plant production. Do that. I'll tell it to keep like a few thousand less, that way I can dump excess ones back into these storages as well, which is the other reason I want to make sure I know where they are. And I've just done outsmart myself, haven't I? Because of course slot 4 if I use all 4 slots, I've not left an output slot. Looks like I'm going to actually need to have proliferation coming in separately. Just to make sure that these guys actually have a acceptable output. I'm going to have to modify the blueprint already. That's why we test things. Sometimes they work. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's a huge mess. Well, I don't mind running a proliferation line around the place. That's okay. If anything, I could just run it next to this one here, can't I? I mean, I did leave enough space for that? Yeah, right on the borderline there. Yeah, I can just run an extra belt for proliferation. It's a slight modification, but not a major one. All I need to do is like put a logistics, say, there. That inputs, then I tell it to go like that, drop down, run it past there, get rid of that input, get rid of this, cleared, and then just feed from the place I'm getting the warpers, also feed in the proliferation stack, and it'll sort itself out like that. Unless I decide to run it along here instead. I mean, we've got space up here. Okay, right. I'll fix that when I come back. I'll fix it when I come back. But I will at the very least get one running for a test of concept. And that is going to be these. Steel, stone, glass, circuits. So it's steel, stone, glass, and circuit boards, which are there. And then slot number 5, because that's where the output is going to wind up for these guys, is going to be chemistry station. Like that. And I'll be honest, we don't really need that much, so just like say like 1,000 limit on each of those guys. This is not a bulk production issue, so just limiting the incoming is going to be fine. And because I'm probably going to delete these things to relay the blueprints, and I think rearrange them so that slot 1 is the output. I'll leave that as 0 as well, but yeah, just let some ships come in, let them drop off the stuff. Make sure that everything's set up properly. There we go. Right. And we should get some brand new chemistry stations coming off the line. As soon as we get steel, where's the steel? The steel is just arriving, but it is not outputting. Okay, so slot 1 is not being outputted, which is meant to be there. There, yeah. We didn't quite get it right, but easy fix, right? Easy, easy fix. And we're making chemistry stations. So yeah, the concept is sound. It needed a few little tweaks to lay it in properly. So it's good. It's good. It's good. This is why I wanted to stop recording. I'm flaking like this. It's like, lack of sleep sucks. But yeah, anyway, there was another thing I was thinking of doing, but I didn't realise quite how long the episode was running. So we're going to call it there, and next time I should be in a much better frame of mind to get back to getting all this sorted out. I'll probably lay out some more manufacturing lines in the meantime off camera, just because it's the same basic repetitive task for each one. And I'll also fix these blueprints as well. But yeah, until then though. This has been Iron Mark 3, thank you all very much for watching. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. And I'll catch you all some other time for a bit more Dyson Sphere program, or whatever else might be your viewing pleasure. Yeah. See you all later.